that is why I got my degree, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here either. My grandfather was the most important man ever in my life. He taught me what it meant to live with humility. He taught me how to never judge and to take care of people. He didn't give those things in like verbal lessons. We watched him through his actions. These are Grandpa's service cards. I hung on to those. That's kind of what's drove me all the years trying to live up to his legacy of being a veteran. He was always so proud to be part of 1st Marine Division. I joined the Army for 2 reasons. One, it was to make him proud, follow in his footsteps, and be worthy, of my grandfather's work in his life. But the other one is because I couldn't afford to go to college, and it was a way for me to go to college. So I signed up for the United States Army. I was a 67 uniform, cargo helicopter mechanic, crew chief, and then door gunner. And when I joined the Army, his exact words were, "Go and make something of yourself and don't come back until you do." Because you don't want to become part of a system where you're just stuck in a cycle of poverty and there's really nothing for you to do here. The transition back was extremely difficult because you're used to living with that purpose, that job every day. I had to learn a whole nother set of skills, and it wasn't over a period of time. It was you learn them now or you fail. And I really struggled when I got out. When I met my husband, we were both working around Fort Campbell. A Iraq War vet. He had considerable struggle and could never find his place. He had quite a few episodes where he'd sit and just cry. And I had gone to work. My neighbor had called and said, "You need to come home. He's not doing well." And he was locked in a bedroom with his medals sitting on the bed. We were able to get to him. And he just told me, "I love you and I'm sorry. I'm not going to hurt you. I don't ever want to hurt you. And please forgive me." And he shot himself. And that changed me for the rest of my life. I had a World War II vet named Alan Simpson, and he's passed on now. I remember just needing to go see somebody, and I went to see Alan. And after talking about everything, he said, "You can either go back to school and figure out a way to fix these guys and gals, to fix yourself. Or," he said, "you're going to be a victim of the system too." And he goes, "I'm not going to let you be a victim of the system." I didn't want to be a number in a classroom. And I don't really know what I was looking for. And I come across National University. That's what started my journey. Once I enrolled, every single professor there was amazing. They were fully supportive without going overboard. They were empathetic, but not too sympathetic, I find it ironic that I went into education, curriculum instruction, and teaching, but that my dissertation chair specialized in military trauma and psychology. He was instrumental in keeping me balanced and keeping me focused and teaching me to be kind to myself. You're going to get to the answer of why, but you have to go through these steps, and kept it professional, but it kept it safe as well. I still use their resources as an alumni. I use the graduate support services, the library services, the research portion was excellent. The whole team was amazing, all the way from the financial aid piece all the way up to the dissertation support. The NU Commons is where I got to meet a lot of great people that were working on their dissertation at different levels. So the feedback from different students helped me realize that even though I was in a class of one, I wasn't the only student going through these thought processes or these struggles. And I really had great mentors that said, you know, with this degree, what are you planning to give back to your community? You know, you've got all this knowledge and research. What is the end result? And then it came back to my husband. I studied the Aboriginal tribes. I studied Japan, Buddhism. I studied every culture I could find on how they took care of people traditionally without putting people in a box or assigning a label to somebody. What was the old way? I came across environmental psychology and conditioning of the environment and how the brain is synchronous to music and patterns and balance and things like that. And I put a movement algorithm together with sensory deprivation that forces the brain to literally rewire itself when all the senses are removed. And that's how I built the max rhythmic motion therapy. 6, 7, 8, rotate. Okay, Darce, we're going to the first chair. So I built that into a therapy program, and I initially tried it on the ground. Go backwards. And it took off. 1, 2, 3, 4, and rotate. That drove my passion for figuring this out, and I have a love of horses. So I had a little quarter horse of my own. And I taught him to do the 360 spins. I taught him to do a slow catwalk where he puts his nose on the ground and the rider faces backwards. They have no sensory. We remove their hearing, we remove their sight. When we started using the horses, I started getting faster results, and pretty soon people were coming from all over the place because it was controlling Parkinsonism. We could get rid of tremors. We get rid of night terrors in a week for vets with no medication. And hold, now walk normal. But when I started seeing what it was doing for families, and I started seeing relatives sitting up on the stage watching their relatives going through this and watching them see the miracles that were happening to their loved ones, I knew that was my purpose. Feel like you're floating, yep. That means the brain has disengaged. Okay, and stop. I couldn't help anybody. I couldn't help my husband anymore, but I could take everything I learned from trauma, everything I learned from my education, built it into a beautiful MRMS program, and within 3 years we served over 10,000 people so far, and we're still growing. That's giving back to the community. Healing, and if people couldn't afford it, we never charged them. Never charged them a dime for it. Eagle's Healing Nest is a support center for veterans that are struggling. Veterans have a place to live there as long as they need. Yeah, there's a lot of memories here too. Watching people succeed and watching people grow, and the most important thing is watching people heal. And the MRMS program fit because we don't put people in boxes. We follow their line of what it means to take care of each other, utilizing and teaching them to use the skills that we were trained on how to get back to a normal life without having to change who they are or reprogram them. We teach them to convert the skills they have into something healthy.
And they say around here, in order to keep what you've earned, you have to give it away.
Yep.
So you just keep giving it away. You can't give what you got away, but you can give away what you learned and the process of it all, because it is a process, and there is no process without pain. You got to go through the swamp.
There's no greater satisfaction. It's not about money. It's not about the title. It's about watching a human life thrive in a cruel world. They come to me like a lit match, and all it takes is a gust of wind and they're gone. And I got to be whatever keeps feeding that fire to keep them going. And that is why I got my degree, because if I didn't continue on for myself to get those resources, I wouldn't be here either. I think walking through my life and looking at everything that I've learned from my grandparents, my mom, from the military, from my education journey to the people that work with me in the clinic. I don't want to be known for a title. I want to be known for what I contributed in helping people heal. I want to be known for teaching a whole new generation of people how to heal without boundaries. But I also want to be known for perseverance, that no matter where you come from, no matter your background, if you're impoverished, if you're living in a car, if you're a veteran, if you're a single mom, single dad, if you're a widow, all of these things, that you can accomplish anything that you put your mind to with a little perseverance. And if I can do it, and you can overcome those hurdles, anybody can do it. That's what I want to be known for. What did I give back to my community? That's my legacy.